Good evening, everyone. I have been introduced as a producer, as an actor, and yes, that's what we do for a living. We produce movies, I act in movies, and that's where our bread and butter comes from. Ever since Vivek and I collaborated and decided to do movies together as a team, and so we made a couple of films, and then one fine day, Vivek was visiting US, and he came back and told me that we are going to make a film on Kashmir. So I was, it didn't really, work with me. I said, what about Kashmir? He said, we're going to make a film on Kashmiri Pandits. Again, I said the same thing. What about Kashmiri Pandits? And this just goes to show how little all of us Indians knew about what this community went through. It was only when Vivek started telling me stories and we started with our research that we started to understand the gravity of the situation little by little. And that's when we decided that we should actually meet the families of the victims, people who have gone through the genocide, people who have suffered through the exodus. And with Dr. Surinder Kaul's help, we came to the United States of America to meet this huge Kashmiri Pandit community here. I remember my first interview. We decided to interview all the Kashmiri Pandits in long format video interviews, and Dr. Sapru is here, Kavita ji is here. They have all spoken to us. I remember the first interview that I sat down for. We went to their place. I don't want to name anyone here, but we went to their place. We were given excellent Kashmiri food to eat. We were made to feel welcome. We were made to feel a part of their family. And then when we sat down for the interview, the lady told me that my father was cut into 50 pieces, put in a sack, and that sack was thrown in the Jhelum River. And I can't even begin to tell you what happened to me then. We were conducting about 4 to 5 interviews every day. And it was terrible for me to listen to the account of everybody who has suffered. And a point came when I told Vivek that I can't really go on with this because this is unbelievable. If the community has gone through so much, how did we not come to know about this? But yet, this was a part of our research and we had to continue. Vivek also tried to keep up a brave front, but somewhere, I think he also started, breaking down. And when we reached back, after finishing the US tour, the UK tour, our teams were simultaneously taking interviews of the community in Jammu, in Pune, in Bangalore, in Singapore. And when we had this huge, first person testimonials with us, with all the research that our team had done, with all the books that they had referred to, with all the, Kashmiri Pandit, what historians and people who have written books about this, when all the research was corroborated, I told Vivek that, I want to produce this movie. Because we may be passionate about all our projects, but what makes Kashmir Files special, what makes it stand apart, is that this is not just a film for us, this is a penance. This is a sin which we Indians have committed 30 years ago by not listening to anyone else. And we decided to make this movie. We decided to show the truth of Kashmir. And while we were making the movie, with every scene that was shot, because every single scene in the film is based on real incidents. And I remember Vivek and I, we would sit at the monitor, we would watch the shot, Mithun Chakravarti is performing, Anupam Kher is performing, Punit Istar is performing, whoever is performing. And we always had tears in our eyes. Because that situation, we could only imagine how it would be, and the actors were making it come alive on the screen for us. And that was the time that I realized that I was only thinking about myself when I came here and how terrible I was feeling. You know, I was feeling so suffocated listening to all these stories. But what about the people who were actually telling us the stories? They had to relive that pain, the anguish, the suffering that they had felt 30 years ago, and they had carried that in their heart. They were pouring their hearts out to us. And I cannot thank the community enough for doing that, for bearing their souls to us and giving us the real story so that we in turn could do something for our brethren. Whenever this issue has been talked about, whenever we speak about the community, we always address them as Kashmiri Pandit community. But from today, I have decided I'm not going to address you as Kashmiri Pandits. I'm going to only address you as Indians, because that's what we all are. Thank you very much.